Okay, so here we're asked to graph the function f of x equals 1/2 x plus 2. So what you need to know about this is whenever you're asked to graph a function, you always treat the f of x, right, the value of the function, as your y. So essentially we're saying that y is going to be our f of x. Oops, that was a very poorly written x. Y is our f of x. So really what we're doing is we're really graphing the line y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Because whenever you graph a function, your f of x takes the role of y. So what I can do is I can graph this just by saying, okay, look, this is already in the form y equals mx plus b. And so I can say, okay, what's my b, right? My intercept is at 2. Okay, and my slope, remember your slope, here, so I'll say like 1/2 equals rise over run. Slope is always rise over run. So what that means is I go up 1, oops, up 1, that's my rise, and then my run is 2, 1, 2. So it's going to give me a point, let's do it in blue, right there. And then again, rise 1, run 2, and a point right there. And then you can, draw a line, with that slope. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just, plot some points because we do have a function. So we can just set up a little table and say, okay, when x is this, what's f of x? And plot some points, and we know it's a linear function, so it's going to make a line. So let's just see what happens when x equals 0, when x equals 1, when x equals 2. Let's do when x equals 4. Okay, so when x equals 0, f of x is 1/2 times 0 plus 2, and this goes away, so I just get 2. Okay, when x is 1, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get 1/2 times 1 plus 2. So I get 1/2 plus 2, so I can even write this as 2.5, 2.5. Okay, when x is 2, I get 1/2 times 2 plus 2. So what's 1/2 times 2? That comes out to be 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. When x is 4, I get 1/2 times 4. I skipped 3 because I thought it would be easier to not have the fraction. But 1/2 times 4 plus 2. So 1/2 times 4 is 2 plus 2 is 4. So just plotting these points. Okay, when x is 0, f of x is 2. So remember, we always graph f of x on the y-axis. All right, so we're treating f of x like our y. When x is 1, we're at about 2.5. Sorry, this is so messy. When x is 2, f of x, which is graphed on the y-axis, is 3. When x is 4, f of x is also 4. And then you can see that we have that same line, that same slope. Okay, so that's another way to graph that.